Hello, Year 8. My name is Mr. Blackwell, and today we will be going through Lesson 11 in our global sequence. Today's title is Global Warming, an Introduction to Solutions for Global Warming. So can you pause this video, please, write down the title and write down today's date, and then resume the video when you're ready. Right, so moving on. Today, all of us will be identifying 3 ways in which we as individuals, so me as an individual, you as an individual, can help reduce global warming. Most will be able to summarise the information presented with this and to explain it in your own words how these methods can reduce global warming, and some will be able to create a detailed mind map showing the methods for reducing global warming. So let's move on. The first thing I want you to do today is think back to what we've been doing from lesson 7 up until now and write down 3 separate ways. You don't have to go into much detail, if any. Write them down, just wording on what you think you can do immediately to help prevent global warming. So think back to greenhouse gases, think back to emissions, and think back to pollution, and think, what could you do? Just write down 3 little bullet points. Ideally, you want the first one to be the most important to you, or the one with the biggest impact. So at the top of those 3 is the most important. At the bottom of those 3 maybe a little bit less important, but still important nonetheless. So pause the video and write down 3 of your choosing, and then continue the video when you have finished. Brilliant. So now that you've written down 3 different ways, we will be coming back to them at the end. So keep them safe in your book and we will move on. So underneath this video, you should be able to see a PDF document. In that document, there's a couple of different ways that we're able to lessen our impact on the environment. So whenever we think of global warming and combating global warming, we always think it's something massive, out of our reach, it's something that we can't help. Once you start reading this PDF, you're going to be able to see that it is something that we can all help in our own little ways, and it may just be making slightly different life choices. So, you need to summarise some of these points. This will be handy for the mind map we will be doing in a minute. So if you have a printer, I would print them off and use a highlighter or underline them. If you don't have a printer, that's completely fine, and it's an opportunity for you to work on your summarising skills. In that document, you will see a couple of different headings of different ways to help reduce our impact. What I want you to do is write them down in different headings and condense it and summarise it. So take the most important things from there and write it down in your own words. I know the first one is to eat less beef. So if I was going to write that down, I'd say eating less beef can have a big impact on the environment, as beef releases a lot of methane, and that is a greenhouse gas. So eating less beef, or less often, or changing from beef to fish or chicken can actually lower our personal impact on the environment. So there you go, there's one for you. So pause this video, either print off and highlight, or summarise it in your book underneath the 3 points you have just done. So pause the video once you are ready, and then resume the video when you have finished. Brilliant. So those points you should have been summarising would have been the most important ones to you, and those will be things we're going to be coming on to in a minute. But let's just see. Before we create this spider diagram, there's also a video underneath this, and I want you to pause this video, go and watch that. I think it's about 5 minutes, maybe a little bit less. I want you to go and watch that and to make some notes on it. Make notes on the things you find most important. If you hear anything about facts or figures, write them down. It will become pretty handy in a minute when we're making our spider diagram. So pause this video, watch the other video and make some notes on it, and come back once you finish making your notes. Right, there we go. So now in our books we should have everything that we need to carry on by making a spider diagram. So in this spider diagram, the heading is going to be, how can we reduce global warming? And by we mean ourselves as individuals. So keep that in mind when you're writing these. It needs to be specific to you as well. So my recommendation is use colours, draw pictures, and make it as beautiful as you can. Underneath this video, there should also be a file, and inside that file or inside that PDF should be some other photos of a few signs, a couple of backgrounds, some landscapes. These are the sort of things you can either draw or you can copy or you can paste onto a document to make it look beautiful. If not, you can get them off the internet or you can trace it off the screen to make it really beautiful. So here is an example. So this looks absolutely fantastic, and I don't want you to do this exact same thing, but something along these lines that's specific to you. So in the middle it says solving global warming, doing something. What we want it to say is how can we reduce global warming? So we want it to be specific to you. You can break it up into these headings if you want, or you can change it into something else. So here they've got travel, like good and bad travel. They have energy. They have a way of helping other people. You can see on the left it says be a catalyst by here. That's how to get other people to make small changes as well. At home, this will be a big section for you. You can have a different section saying at school, if you like as well, like using less paper, turning lights off when you leave classroom, like different things that you're able to do, or even walking to school. Eating less meat. So here is just one cow. If you just eat cows, maybe that's the only animal you want to put down. If you eat different types of animals, you may want to put them down as well. There's loads of different things you can be writing about, and there's loads of things you've just seen in the PDF and the video. So pause this video and get started. Use as much colours as you like, draw pictures, make little animations, do as much as you can and make it unique and individual to you. So pause the video now and then resume it when you have finished. Excellent job. I didn't say, but I would say now, either use a separate piece of paper and I glue it in, or turn your book landscape and try and fill the page. It's up to you, whatever your preference is, but give yourself enough space so you can fill it out. So, on to the next one. Right. Returning to the first thing we did today. You should have made 3 different points, the top one being the most important to you on how you can make changes and help reduce global warming today. So now that you know a little bit more about what we can and can't do, now you know more of the realistic options we have, can you make another one of those lists? Either underneath where your three original ones were, or somewhere else on the page to see what you would have changed. So do them in the same order, the top one the most important, and the ones underneath a little bit less important to you. And see if any of them have changed. And if they have changed, write underneath in 1 or 2 sentences why they have changed. It could have been something that you didn't know before, or it could have been something that you didn't realise made a difference. So write them down when you finished. If you have more than 3, you can definitely write down more than 3. And if you have quite a bit of time left, you can use that extra time to write down more than a few sentences. You can write down the wider consequences of that if you like. So pause this video and carry on with that. So brilliant, there we go. Now that you have changed and amended or made some changes to those original 3 points, we have finished for today. So go back over your work, make sure everything is neat and tidy, make sure that you finished everything off. If you want to read back over that PDF document, there's loads of useful information in there, and I would recommend talking to family and friends about it because little changes can have massive impact. So brilliant, you are done for today, and I will see you for next lesson. Brilliant, thank you.